Hi guys, today it's gonna be one of those sentences that will make you faint. But after you regain your senses, you will be very proud of yourself. So just follow me. Please open your materials. Фёдор Достоевский, Маленький герой. And if you don't have them printed, please open the link below this video. And I'll show you our sentence that's gonna make you faint, as I said. Just a second. So please find the sentence that starts with «Я покраснел». «Я покраснел». Now look, you're going to start from here, and this sentence ends here with the word «гримасы». Can you see that? We are starting with «Я покраснел», and we are finishing with «гримасы». Now, so it means how many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lines, 1 sentence. What do you think about it? First, I'm going to read it to you, first reading. After that, we're going to go over the words, taking out every new word and expression. And after that, towards the end, I'm gonna read it again. And please compare. And you will be highly surprised by the results. Probably. So guys, just come back to this very big glamorous party near Moscow. The narrator of the story by Dostoevsky is an 11-year-old boy who feels something strange for himself in terms of his body, in terms of his mind, in terms of his emotions, towards a beautiful young blonde lady that is present at the party. And he is depicting here the first meeting between them during the home theater show. And he is saying: «Я покраснел и в смущении осматривался кругом, приискивая, куда бы уйти. Но она уже предупредила меня, как-то успев поймать мою руку, именно для того, чтобы я не ушел. И, притянув ее к себе, вдруг, совсем неожиданно, к величайшему моему удивлению, прибольно сжала ее в своих шаловливых горячих пальчиках и начала ломать мои пальцы, но так больно, что я напрягал все усилия, чтобы не закричать, и при этом делал присмешные гримасы». So, that was first reading. Now please take your pens, pencils, and papers, and we'll start working. Покраснел means became red. Became red from embarrassment. Because, remember, prior to that, just watch the previous lesson, she asked him to sit on her lap. So he's saying «Я покраснел», I became red. И в смущении means in embarrassment. Осматривался кругом, looked around. Осматриваться means to look around, and кругом means also around. So I looked around. In Russian you can say it. Next word, приискивая. It means looking for, but that's quite an obsolete word. In the modern Russian you would say ища. But please underline and write above that, looking for. Приискивая, куда бы уйти. So куда бы means where. Бы just strengthens the previous word куда. So куда бы уйти. So where to. Уйти means leave. Where to leave. Because he was embarrassed, he wanted to leave. So he was looking around where to leave. Но она уже предупредила меня. Now, предупредила comes from предупредить, and it has two meanings. The first one is to warn someone about something. To warn. But it's not in this case. In this case, it means to make something before another person. In other words, to get ahead of another person. Or, in English, you also have this verb to forestall. You know, forestall something, to anticipate. Like to make something earlier. So, но она уже предупредила меня. We'll translate that as, but she already got ahead of me. Как-то means somehow. Успев, managing. Somehow managing / succeeding. So that's managing in the meaning of succeeding. Поймать, to catch. So when he's saying, so he was looking around where to go. Но она уже предупредила меня, как-то успев поймать мою руку. But she already got ahead of me, somehow managing to catch my hand. Or catch my arm, rather. Именно для того, чтобы я не ушел. Именно для того. Exactly for the reason that. Now, you can underline именно для того, чтоб as a whole expression. Exactly for the reason that. Therefore, именно для того, чтоб я не ушел would be exactly for the reason for me not to leave. Yeah, because чтоб means in order to. So in order that I don't leave. And you will get it even more precisely when we combine this whole puzzle together very soon. И притянув ее к себе, притянув means pulling. Yeah, it comes from тянуть, which is to pull. So притянув ее к себе and pulling it to her. Now ее, it should be yo with those two dots above ye, yo, ее к себе. Ее relates to рука, to the hand or the arm. И притянув ее к себе and pulling it, which means my arm, to her, вдруг совсем неожиданно, suddenly, at all, unexpectedly, so неожиданно, please underline it, unexpectedly. And совсем means altogether, like, no, it's like at all unexpectedly. К величайшему моему удивлению, удивлению comes from удивление, which means surprise. Величайший means great or very big. Therefore, к величайшему моему удивлению means to my biggest surprise. So, величайший basically means biggest. So, to my biggest surprise. Прибольно сжала ее. Прибольно means very painfully. So, больно means painful, or painfully, basically. Прибольно means very painfully. Сжала, squeezed. And ее, again, relates to his arm. So, прибольно сжала ее, very painfully squeezed it, meaning my arm. В своих шаловливых горячих пальчиках. So, в своих means in her. We talked about that. The word свой, своя, свои relates to someone who we talked about before. So, в своих шаловливых горячих пальчиках. So, пальчики, first of all, пальчиках means fingers. Шаловливых, naughty. And горячих means hot. Therefore, прибольно сжала ее в своих шаловливых горячих пальчиках would mean very painfully squeezed it meaning the arm, in her naughty, hot fingers. И начала ломать мои пальцы. Ломать means break. So, and started breaking my fingers. He did not mean really break, but kind of squeeze them very painfully. Но так больно, but so painfully, что я напрягал все усилия. Напрягал means strained. You have a word напряжение, which means strain as a noun, and the verb напрягать, to strain. And усилия means efforts. That's plural of усилия. So, я напрягал все усилия, meaning I strained all the efforts. So, but meaning I made great effort. I made a great effort, чтобы не закричать. Чтоб, in order to, не закричать, not to scream. Закричать means scream. И при этом делал присмешные гримасы. So, и при этом means and along that, or alongside that, делал, did, or made, присмешные, very, very funny. Присмешные. Смешные means funny, присмешные, very funny. Гримасы, grimaces. So guys, now let's combine everything together and you will be surprised by your comprehension. He's saying, я покраснел и в смущении осматривался кругом. I became red and in embarrassment looked around. Приискивая, куда бы уйти. Looking for where to leave. Но она уже предупредила меня. But she already got ahead of me. Как-то успев поймать мою руку. Somehow succeeding in catching my arm. Именно для того, чтобы я не ушел. Exactly for the reason, in order for me not to leave. И притянув ее к себе, and pulling it to herself, вдруг совсем неожиданно, suddenly, completely unexpectedly, к величайшему моему удивлению, to my greatest surprise, прибольно сжала ее в своих шаловливых горячих пальчиках. Very painfully squeezed it in her naughty, hot fingers. И начала ломать мои пальцы, and started breaking my fingers. Но так больно, что я напрягал все усилия, but so painfully that I strained all the efforts, чтоб не закричать, in order not to scream. И при этом делал присмешные гримасы. And along that, I made very funny grimaces. Okay, guys, so now I'm going to read this whole sentence and you listen to the music of the language. And also, I'm sure you will be surprised by your comprehension. Listen. Я покраснел и в смущении осматривался кругом, приискивая, куда бы уйти. Но она уже предупредила меня, как-то успев поймать мою руку, именно для того, чтобы я не ушел. И притянув ее к себе, вдруг совсем неожиданно, к величайшему моему удивлению, прибольно сжала ее в своих шаловливых горячих пальчиках и начала ломать мои пальцы, но так больно, что я напрягал все усилия, чтобы не закричать, и при этом делал присмешные гримасы. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions or if you have anything to share, specifically your success stories with Russian classics, please write down below this video. And if you want us to work on your Russian and get your Russian to a really, really high level using certain methods that are relatively unknown, that I have accumulated in close to 20 years of teaching experience, please let me know. My email is down below, and please don't hesitate. The first Zoom meeting with me, about 30 minutes, is completely free, and you're not obliged to continue. But you will be directed to very, very good materials in Russian that suit your level as well as techniques. Meanwhile, guys, I wish you good mood, keep smiling, and we will see each other at the next lesson. Ciao, ciao.